then. So what are we playing today, Ben?
Well, today, Kelly, I've drafted in to show you Remnant from the Ashes, and I really had to think to get that right because I keep calling this Revenant. It's got a really bad title, but it's not a bad game. It's a new kind of Dark Souls like action RPG, a little bit of Dark Souls, a little bit of Warframe. It's kind of a mishmash of things. But this is it. It's kind of this post-apocalyptic setting where this alien race called the Root, which are evil tree people, have taken over Earth, and you are one of the last survivors. And you just go out into the world and kind of unravel what the hell's going on. And it's all pretty trippy. And I put about, I'm going to say, 5 to 6, maybe a little bit more hours into this. And you start on Earth, so I'll just go to Earth and see if there's anything we can uncover to show you a little bit of the game. But yeah, I say Dark Souls because it is very difficult like Dark Souls, and these big red crystals are kind of like your bonfires. You can teleport between them. You have like an Estus flask type healing mechanic where you have different charges for it, and you can only use them between bonfires. They call them bonfires. They're like crystal little things in here.
So we're just jumping straight into your game.
Yeah, so this is my game file. I've just taken us back to Earth. I'm on the second planet, which is called Rom. Although one of the hook for this game is that it randomly generates you or seeds you a campaign. So not everybody will have the same experience. The developers have kind of gone on record and said they expect you to see about 45% of the game on your first playthrough.
Okay.
And there's an option when you go on the crystals that we just saw. There's a world settings option, and you can click on that and you click reroll campaign, and it basically swaps out all the areas, and you get different weapons in different areas. I've heard a lot of people say this is a loot shooter. It is not. All weapons and items are fixed to locations and fixed areas. You might get them on some playthroughs and not on others. So that fiery sword that I got on my back was from the dragon boss that I got on Earth. But yeah, it's very much in the RPG. Put your advanced stats on here as well. So you've got all sorts of stuff. So you've got kind of like light weapons. So you've got kind of pistols. I've got an SMG at the moment, which is pretty good. You've got kind of what are bigger weapons, main weapons. So you've got assault rifles. I've got a beam rifle, which I found on the second planet. It's kind of alien. They get more exotic as you go on. You've got rifles and shotguns and things like that. A coach gun's kind of like a shotgun with a bit more range, but very limited ammo. It only got 2 in the chamber. What else you got? You got lots of stuff in your inventory. So that these are kind of consumables that you've got. You can top your health up, stop yourself bleeding. Materials for crafting, quest items for various things. You got a lot of stuff going on. Let me just see if I can find. Yeah, so you got armors as well, which kind of have passives, like set bonuses. So I'm wearing the Drifter's overcoat and the Drifter's trousers. And you can see I've got 2 pieces, so I get 20% stamina usage bonus. Like it takes, and Scrapper Helmet is 7.5 damage reduction. Oh, sorry, dealt within 5 minutes. So it's kind of like a close range attack thing. You get necklaces with various effects. I'm wearing the Gunslinger's charm, which is increased fire rate and reload speed, but there's on there 15% extra damage to enemies that have less than 50% health. Actually, I quite like that one. I swapped it round for a boss that required quick reloads in order to cope with the hordes.
So you can change on the fly. That sounds
good.
It's
it's pretty flexible when you get this type of stuff. What else have we got?
So all these weapons, armor, you just found out in the world, but they are in fixed sort of locations.
Yes. So. And there's NPCs and stuff. This kind of whole place basically belongs to this crazy old hermit who lives in a crash out helicopter.
Is it set in a certain time period? Because we've got sort of like an old style of music.
No, it's just World War. Well, I look like a World War One kind of Mad Max version of World War One kind of character. But no, I think it's just post-apocalyptic. It's fairly generic in that regard. It does get more trippy as it goes through different areas, but that's pretty much it at the moment. You've got traits as you level up. You unlock points to put in these categories. They all go up to 20, and you unlock different ones as you come across things in the game. So like when you start, when you start the game, you get 3 classes: Scrapper, Ex-Cultist, and Hunter. I'm going to say, which is basically short, medium, and long range fighters, and they each start with vigor and endurance, which is health and stamina, and then our bonus belonged to that class, the warrior. I got because I was a scrapper, which is melee, but you can unlock all the other ones as you go, and every time you level up, you get a trait. These all scale up to 20, so there's not really builds. You just will eventually become powerful in all regards. But let's go out into the world. So it's not, the combat is have I just gone the wrong way? Where the hell am I going? The combat's really good. It's probably the best part of this game. Let's see, where am I? So let's explore. Maybe worth exploring kind of east and south. Now I've been through all these areas. I've opened my game to the public as well, so we might get some random people dropping in, but that's definitely where the game shines. Kind of first impressions or early impressions of this game is it's a lot of fun with friends or with others. It can be a tad frustrating when you're by yourself because it's definitely a game geared towards group play.
So if that's bringing someone else into your game, then what sort of benefits does it give that person coming into your game?
So basically they'll level up. Oh, there's an enemy over there. They'll level up, they'll get gear and weapons, so you could go into somebody else's game that has maybe a different seed and access to different weapons, and as a result they can take them back into their own game. So I'm pretty over leveled for this area, but yeah, the guns feel pretty good to use. There's a lot of enemies. Oh, there's a big boy over there. So there is a cover system as well, so if you crouch behind it, you can pop out. There was a time when these guys were like terrifying. So, right, he's down. So if you notice in the bottom right, you've got my weapons and my health and my endurance. So if I sprint, my stamina goes down. What the hell's that? Yeah, I'm probably way over level to this area, to be honest. Ooh, but that's good. If you kill big enemies, you get these luminate crystals, which you can use to upgrade rare things. I can't get to that ledge apparently. I'm pressing the wrong button, that's why. There we go. But next to the gun icon, you'll see like a little icon with a 1 next to it. They're mods you can put in weapons. So the mod I've got fit at the moment, I can summon these little minions that come and fight for me.
Oh yeah.
And they're pretty effective.
Do they sort of level up with you?
There's skills for mod power.
You see chips in the guy.
I have no idea what the hell the thing was. So there's a lot of exploration in this game, a lot of buildings to kind of go into, and there's always that kind of sense of danger. A bit like Dark Souls, it's always this balance between pushing on and pushing on to explore, but also the danger of getting killed. It's a little less punishing than Dark Souls, that you don't lose all your progress when you die. You just basically go back to the last checkpoint and the enemies respawn.
Right.
Similarly though, yeah, I'm probably too way high level for this. We'll make our way through back to the next checkpoint and I'll go to one of the more appropriately scaled areas. It's more akin to actual kind of physical progress through the game world that you lose. So if I died here now, I would go back to the last checkpoint and have to fight through all these again.
But you would have kept the weapons and stuff you picked up.
Yes, all this scrap, all this ammo, all the rest of it. Ooh, what the hell's that thing? So there's a pretty good melee system in this game as well. If I can get close. It's a lot of fun. And these range guys probably make it difficult to show off, but there's a lot of focus on like dodge rolling through attacks. So there's a lot more iframes in this game than something than like Bloodborne or something. So you can basically, it's all about timing until the enemy swings to attack you and then roll in at the last minute to dodge it. These guys are like long range fighters, they don't like getting close. And who can blame them when I got my fiery sword? So there's a touch of Monster Hunter as well. Like you get a lot of the weapons from killing bosses, and you get them from killing bosses in specific ways. So like this fiery sword, I got a dragon boss called, I'm going to call the one called Singe, early in the game, and if you blow off his tail during the fight, you get an item. Upon killing him, you get a special item. Oh fuck. Oh, So these guys can summon. I think they're called summoners actually. So let's not fuck about. So they've got their own little minions. But they're really not. They tend to swarm you more than actual like individual challenges.
Yeah, this is more of a distraction.
Oh fuck.
And stay down!
Yeah. You pick a voice for your character when you first start the game. There's a bit of a character creator, although it's maybe a little bit pointless when there's no kind of cosmetic options and I've got a helmet on.
You can choose the face.
Face, hair, race, gender, voice. There's like 4 voices.
I suppose right now you could have picked anyone.
And I have not seen my character's face since the opening of the game where you don't have a helmet. These guys are, to be honest, I found the enemies in the first part of the game a lot harder than these guys. They're not very good shots. Yeah, so when you join people's games, so we're not getting many people come in here because probably it's so early in the game and most people have moved on at this point. Kill enemies. But when you get extra people in your party, so you can get parties of 3, and the game will scale up, it'll throw more enemies at you, enemies will get level boosts to make them more difficult. Boss fights are generally made more difficult. Both simultaneously easier and more difficult by having friends. They'll be easier in that you can kind of share the attention of the boss and get a bit of breathing space. More difficult in that most boss fights rely on a copious amount of ads to come in and swarm you, and that increases with the number of people.
Okay, so it pays to have a good friend, not so much to have a
yes,
friend.
I've definitely been stuck in situations where somebody joined me who was either not the best or under-leveled and really, really struggled.
But it must bring that sort of revive feature.
Yes, so if you die when you're by yourself, you literally die. And this game, when it's at its most intense, does not give you much opportunity to heal. Like, one of the biggest frustrations I've had is like, I'm trying to fucking heal. I've got 4 heal swigs of my little flask still, but it's not letting me do it.
I wonder if there's maybe some armour out there that's going to suit your needs in the future.
Possibly. I've seen plenty of videos and screenshots of people who are way further in the game with me with very exotic looking armour and alien artifacts and things like that. I'm very much still in the Mad Max era of the game, I think. Like all shotguns repurposed and everything's made of pipes, and it's just like my helmet's a World War I helmet with a welder's mask glued to it.
So what's your actual objective?
So it's quite ambiguous. The game starts where you're trying to get to this tower in the middle of the ocean. Let's say Earth's been taken over by the roots, this parasitic plant-like species. This is another planet called Rom. And so far, the only thing I've been able to gather is that this is the only planet the Root have ever been repelled from because they basically nuked it. The Romans, they nuked their own planet into oblivion and sent themselves back to the Stone Age, and the Root were like, "Nah, fuck this isn't worth it," and left. So these guys are basically like tribal guys who throw spears at you. Oh. Now, I'm in a lot more danger here, and these fucking things.
So these are the guys who were left after the nuke? He looked like he had some sort of radiation.
Yeah, it's all the enemies here bleed radiation. It's a radioactive hellhole. And you see the bottom, shit. Oh, shit.
You bastard!
And the enemies really don't fuck about in this game. These things. I have no idea what them things are.
They look like flying skulls.
Yeah, they are, basically.
Oh, you've got a spear in your gun.
Oh my god. Them things. I am not doing well here. Right, I need to bandage myself up to stop the bleeding, because that's going to drain my health over time. And then I need a swig mat. So you see, I've got my dragon flask. It's down to 3 now, next to my guns. I've got 4 charges currently. You only start with. Oh god, I've never seen that before. Glitchy. Right.
So how do you get more flasks?
You've got to get special items, which I think you get from killing the last boss of a particular planet. And then there's a character back at base who will upgrade it. Now you see them. Them big guys. I really don't like these big guys.
Is that a boss or is that just?
No, that's just a heavy enemy. Oh god, I would tell if I was actually shooting them. Now the thing about these guys who wear the... You got to roll through them, because if you roll backwards, they just carry on the combos and fuck you up.
Do enemies have different sort of
Weak spots?
Yeah, weak
spots. So head's generally a good one, but these guys wear the skull mask, so if you shoot them in the face enough, the skulls break and you can aim at the head. Otherwise, not much weakness, to be honest. But yeah, the shooting feels really good. It's very satisfying, just like nail enemies. Fuck.
Down!
And when you're in combat, the enemies give you a lot of nice audio cues and visual cues. Like everything's really well telegraphed to let you just roll out the way. But the game then giveth with one hand and take away with the other, in that it just throws so many enemies at you that it's often hard to pick up who's doing what at any time.
Yeah, one of the guys there was running at you, and it's something that I'd heard, but I could hear his footsteps from quite a way away.
Yeah, so the audio design's a bit all over the place. When you're in combat, it's fine. It serves its purpose. To say like you can hear the kind of shing of their their spears is about to throw them, so you know somebody's going to throw something at you and you need to roll. When enemies are just patrolling or you don't know where they are, this game's audio is all over the place. It sounds like an enemy is always right around the corner, and then they're not. They're actually half a level away. Ooh, a dog. So again, these enemies are pretty easy if they don't, as long as they don't overwhelm you. But these skulls are a pain. Oh, these are a bit different. But I'm about to head somewhere where it's not so easy. So this planet's home to these guys. So these are like the denizens who are left over after nukes dropped. They're basically got kind of tribal Stone Age guys. There's these weird kind of like aliens with energy weapons who seem to be more like maybe biological weapons that somebody created. They've got no real personality. They just kind of march at you silently, fighting you. They're not very nice. And then the worst ones are these very, very Destiny-esque, but I've started calling them the Hive, because they seem to be radioactive wasps who like burrow into the tribesmen and twist them into giant radioactive monsters.
Okay.
And that's what we're about to find in here. So this is the so the game's basically broken up into kind of overworld bits and then little dungeons like this, and the dungeons where the intense combat happens. I went here last night. Or the other day, and holy fuck, there's a lot of stuff in here. A lot of really, really intense stuff.
So this is a dungeon or a boss room?
So the dungeons are kind of indoor, enclosed areas. There will usually be a boss or an encounter of some kind at the end, and you will normally be gifted with a weapon, a new bit of armour, some kind of bonus that makes it worth your time.
Only asking because I know we went through sort of a cloudy door.
Yes.
Which reminded me of Dark Souls.
Yes, the fog gates are back in this game. So I've just rested the bonfire, so that means all my health, all my ammo, all my bonuses have been restored, but all the enemies I've just killed are respawned.
Yeah.
And I mentioned before, you can so these little bonfires, you can teleport back to the hub, which is Ward 13, where your vendors are and things like that. Oh, nice. We've got somebody joining our game. Now, hopefully this works. So the person joining my game, usually you have to set a bonfire to, a crystal thing to teleport them in. The multiplayer seems a little bit lax on this game in that it'll sometimes tell me a player's joined and I'll try to bring them in like just then and they won't come in, and then it'll say they've left before they've ever joined. It's a little bit hitty-missy. See?
Yeah, left joined. Okay. That's a shame.
Yeah. At the same time, if you look on the top left, he's got an audio cue playing. So I'm playing on PS4 here, and as far as I'm aware, it's the only version of the game with functional voice chat or even functional communication.
Okay.
PC seems to be where this game's really flourishing. It's one of the top games in Steam since it released, but there's not even text chat in the game, let alone voice chat. So people are turning to Discord and things like that. So there's a lot of these fucking skull things in this. Oh, fuck me, I should have rolled.
So this is a PS4, Xbox, PC?
Yes, I believe it is. It might not be on Xbox, but I think it is. Definitely doing very well on PC. It had something like 48,000 concurrent players earlier this week. It seems to be a bit of a sleeper hit. So it's £32 on PlayStation 4. It equates to about $40 in the US. And I'd say that's probably priced right. This feels like a game with a very good kind of framework, but a lot of rough edges that I'd like to see ironed out. And the developer seems pretty committed to doing that. Oh, that fucking thing!
So who is the developer?
Gunfire Games. So they are an offshoot of Vigil, who created the original Darksiders.
Okay.
Which is a franchise that's possibly not flourishing like it once was. It's always been a kind of B tier franchise, but kind of beloved by those who played it. Darksiders 3 came out this year and was not well regarded, but it's not those guys. It's not the same team making it anymore. The rights and everything fell with THQ and THQ Nordica trying to salvage it and all the rest of it now. There's all the history with that. But yeah, Gunfire Games is a bit of an offshoot of that. I need something nasty.
It sounds pretty close, but I
I
suppose it
think
could be
they'll
below
be
you.
quite a way away. I've already opened. That's a chest, but I've already opened it on my last playthrough. Yeah, I got really frustrated. And that one of the things when you're playing by yourself, it's frustrating. Is just like that loss of shit. So these are kind of, I would describe them as mini bosses. They're pretty powerful.
I could tell by the way you're sort of cursing.
Sorry, I think my little minions do alright. Like they're doing like 50 damage per slice. I really don't like them things.
I wouldn't know what to describe that other than a robot dog.
Yeah, it's kind of like a big cow thing with a gun turret on the back. More nasty stuff. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to swig some blood. I think it's called blood wart or blood clotter or something like that. It's like a kind of disposable health item. You see my health going up very slowly.
Yeah.
It's kind of there to top you off. It's not the instant heal of the dragon flask. Like, see, the enemies sound right around the next corner.
It does, yeah. And I'm not sure, is that typical or is that...
Yeah, this is pretty much what it's like, and I'm constantly looking around every goddamn... Oh shit, there... Oh, these fuckers, right, I really don't like these. So these are the infested tribesmen. So, don't shoot them in the head. Oh, fuck! Shoot them in the leg. If you shoot them in the head, yes, it hurts them, but it also sprays out radioactive bees. Now, this is what they like to do. I'm going to swig some water to get rid of my radiation. It's all them consumables. Oh shit, there's another one. There's the radioactive bees. I'm going to send a minion after him. I quite like that. You can swap different mods out into different weapons to create different builds. There's another one down there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Oh! Oh my god. Right, okay, another thing I don't like about this game, enemies can like just attack you through walls.
Hey!
Oh, trophy.
Whoa.
Them things. And see the radioactive cloud they leave
Yeah.
behind. Like if you walk through that, you get poisoned, but it doesn't last long. Oh. What the fuck's that thing? I don't even know what that is. Okay, they seem like radioactive summoners. Oh god. Thought you were, yeah. See, it's pretty buggy. I mean, I'd say it's priced at £32. That feels right. It feels like this game's got a lot of good ideas, a few rough edges. And I'd definitely like to see it improved. But the developers seem really committed. Gunfire seem to be willing to plug at this for the long term. They've already said that they're going to do an adventure mode, which will let you have more control over what versions of the areas you get, so you can farm weapons and armor a bit more effectively.
Yeah, so less random.
Probably a bit like Diablo's adventure mode, I'd say.
Yeah.
Right, I've been through this area a little bit before, but I got killed, so which way should I go? Maybe up and round.
Did you say you're about 6 hours in?
It's hard to tell, but yeah, I've definitely plugged a fair few hours. I've had the game about a week. It's been out about a week and a half.
You having fun?
when it's in full swing, yes, it's a lot of fun, but then often I'll get frustrated just with the buggy multiplayer. You can kill your little minions as well. Friendly fire is definitely a thing in this game. I rolled too early. Oh, come on. So silly. Another one of those fucking big things.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm gonna run out of water here. Jesus Christ, that arm came through the wall again.
So the water does get rid of the radiation?
Yes, it should do, but...
And what does radiation actually do? Does it keep the health down?
it's fine until it fills up.
It's got quite a range.
So it's a bit like Dark Souls where the bar fills up and you'll start suffering from it. Bleeding's a little bit different in that you just tend to start bleeding, and then you've got when the bar ticks down, that's as long as you're bleeding. Oh shit! I'm in trouble. This is my healing aura.
That's good, you've got a few different ways to heal.
There's like, you could potentially do different builds as you're playing through the game. As I say, eventually everybody will be mega powerful, have traits, max traits and everything, and be like, not unkillable, but be able to switch on the fly. But as you're leveling up, especially if you were playing in a group build diversity, could actually be pretty cool. Like, you could play as a support character. This guy is like a wind up. Right, now pop out. If you shoot kind of in the joint between the gun and the body, it seems to be a crit spot, hence the red numbers.
And you're getting yellow numbers elsewhere, is that?
So yellow numbers I think are kind of crits. You have like a critical chance.
Yeah.
Reds are weak spot hits. So weak spots are the best, yellows are second, white's just standard. Hit them things. How did that not hit him? So early in the game, basically, like one of the tips is like you need to conserve your ammo and use your melee against weaker enemies. And I was like, I don't think that's true, but yeah, you definitely do need to in these stages of the game.
The ammo is just a pickup, so it's quite scarce.
It's not super scarce, but it's scarce enough that you can end up in a bad situation if you kind of carelessly use it.
And how does it work? Do you only get ammo for the guns you've got equipped?
You get different types, like long gun ammo is like rifles and things like that. Pistol ammo is like your pistols and your SMGs, and then you've got shotgun ammo as well. I think you've got other weapons as well, like I've seen people use a crossbow. I've got a particle beam, which is like a long range beam weapon that I must admit I don't really like. It's definitely the most exotic weapon I've got, but I don't like it. Fucking things. God, my aim is all over the place. So if you keep these at range, they're alright. Because you can see the blasts coming.
You can, but you are running out of ammo. That's the problem.
Yeah. There's a big hive guy down there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Go on then, my pretties.
Does it actually tell you the names of the enemies? Because I like how you've just named him the hive guy.
Not really. Oh shit! I thought I'd rolled.
Oh, you got this.
Too bad. God, I remember when I first fought them. This is again a bit like Dark Souls. When you fight new enemies, they will be terrifying, and then gradually they just become kind of normal. So early on in the game, there's these giant brutes they're called, and they are like giant tree colossuses with like swords as big as you, and they just heave them at you as hard as they fucking can, and they're really scary. But then you can realise if you just dodge through them at the last minute, they can't hit you,
Right.
and you just dance around them and obliterate them. Got some ammo. Fucking shaman again. I like your character definitely. Oh god, I could have rolled off that fucking hill there. That's the last thing I want to do. Do you not like them? I feel like there might be something up there.
It sounds like there's something close-ish.
So I think I got killed pretty sharpishly after this bit. Oh, I never got that much further than this bit. Oh, my minion's gone.
Is he just on a cooldown?
Yeah, he just has a timer basically. You can summon two. See, like the on my gun, there's like a 0. I haven't got any charge up. You power your mod for that particular gun by using that gun. Hey, you leveled up. So I've got a trait point. I can put it in there. Another trait and give myself more health, more whatever. I'm like, did I just waste a half a clip in between his fucking leg? Oh man. So it's kind of a bit of an endurance race. Like you're basically trying to balance your resources against your what you've got, like health wise and ammo wise, and like against getting to the next checkpoint. To be honest, this is going surprisingly well thus far. It's about to go tits, so I'm sure it is. So the game's weird. Like it takes, when you're playing in a group, it's a lot more kind of gung-ho Destiny style. Like let's just all blitz things together, and then when there's a big enemy, we'll work together and take it down. Oh fucking.
Some games obviously work better playing together. Is this one of those?
Yeah, it's definitely more fun. It feels more akin to a survival horror game when you're by yourself. Like you're constantly. I mean, obviously it's a lot more fucking gung-ho than a survival horror typically is, but you're constantly watching your back, like worried about what the hell's coming after you. The game is not frightened of throwing enemies at you from multiple directions all at once. I can hear another one of those suiciders, but I can't. Is he under there? He is.
He's sort of trapped. Or hiding, I'm not sure.
No, I think he's trapped. At least I've got like the roll out of them down now. There's another one somewhere.
He's gonna just be around the corner, isn't he? Nope.
Nope. I wanted that. Oh, beautiful!
So what's that?
So that is something I can plug into leveling up my Estus flask. I'm gonna call. I know it's not an Estus flask, but that's what I'm calling it. My health. Oh, there he is. So you can. So like, if you look at my weapons, so like that's a submachine gun plus 10. Weapons can be powered up to 20, and in order to get level 20, you needed one of those simulacrums.
Okay.
Is this going to be a boss?
Yeah.
It might not be. It might be the exit.
Is there no difference, like in the way it looks?
Yeah, that's more like a glowy door. Fog doors are like literal Dark Souls fog doors. I'm surprised I got through that actually, because last time it was a fucking nightmare. You know the machine gun cows? There was like 6 of them last time, and I just got worn down.
So that dungeon are the enemies in the same place each time?
No,
is it the same layout?
they're kind of randomised to a point now. I'm not out the dungeon, which makes me think this is going to be a boss fight. So I kind of just wanted to get to a boss fight or some kind of event. I'll tell you what I can do. So these little bonfires, you can't travel to them, but you can travel back to your base from them.
Right. Okay.
And then like go back to the last one used. You can only teleport freely between the big ones that look like that.
Right, okay.
I made that mistake a few times when I first started playing the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it that clear. Or if it does, I missed it and didn't pick up on it. So what I'll do is I'll go back, I will upgrade my weapons and Estus flask and all the rest of it to make this as easy as possible for the next boss, and then we can watch the boss kill me.
Oh, okay, so you need to be in a certain place to upgrade
there's a hub. You go back, there's people who craft your gear and stuff like that. There's like 3 or 4 vendors and crafters and all the rest of it. And you saw me picking up lots of scrap. That's essentially the currency in this game.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be good to see some of the characters because we've pretty much been solo so far.
I mean, the characters are fine. The voice acting's fine. It's like your fairly standard hub. So I'm going to see a character called the Root Mother who gets introduced in the game fairly early.
The portent returns.
So she can upgrade your flask. So it'll cost me 1 simulacrum, 10 luminate crystals, and 1,000 scrap, I'm going to say, or currency, whatever it is. So I've just upgraded myself.
Tread carefully.
So now I've got 5 uses of my Dragon Shard, my Estus Flask.
Okay, brilliant.
So traits, I unlocked 1 trait. So I'm trait tier 66, and I think it goes up to something like 240-ish. I haven't unlocked all the different things at the moment.
It's a nice round number.
So that's kind of your level. And I'm just kind of, I'm at this point just generally leveling everything up to 10. Just to kind of keep myself nice and balanced. I'm not going for a particular build because I feel like somebody's just joined me. Or is that the glitched out Sears Armor's very... Oh no, there's
He's got
somebody.
a new name, Necro.
Yeah, well hello. He's got fancy armor. He's obviously much further in the game than I am. I'm just going to upgrade. So he's got an extra swig of the Estus Flask as well. Have I got anything I can give her? So this is, I can't remember her name, to be honest, she's a bitch. Yeah. So that's a new mod I've got.
Now go.
So she can create mods from boss items and things like this. This guy's who upgrades your equipment.
Oh, he sounds a bit more friendly.
Yeah, he's alright. He's a pretty chill dude. I probably need to upgrade my armor, to be honest. And you can upgrade all your weapons and things like that. So I've got quite a few melee weapons and things like that.
Take care, my friend.
I like my sword though, but like what else have I got? So I've got my SMG. I started with that scrap hammer. I don't really like that much. I bought a scrap sword, which is what one of the other classes starts with. Classes in this game, by the way, don't mean shit. They're just what you start loadout looks like.
Right.
I've got this cool little mace though, which I got from a dungeon.
Oh yeah.
It's very, it looks very painful.
It looks good, I like it.
But I'm a sucker for my fiery sword. So yeah, cool, we've got somebody with us, which is probably both, I mean this guy looks pretty serious, so hopefully he's good and he knows what to do for this next boss.
So will he just be transported with you?
You generally have to all touch the crystal, so we'll just give him a few minutes. Oh, we've got Fruity Pebble. Definitely, I would say, and this is just totally anecdotal, the game, the game feels like it. Once one person's with you, it will quickly find you a third.
Right, okay.
That guy's also looking pretty tooled up compared to me as well.
We're gonna have a good time.
I'll probably be the weak link here.
So have you done much playing in other people's games?
A little bit. It's a good way to grind, get some extra power. The skill in this game is really weird. So now these guys are obviously a bit more geared up than I am. Or at least got some fancier stuff than I am. By the way, friendly fire is a thing in this game.
Okay.
Melee weapons don't hurt each other, but guns definitely do. But yeah, the skill, and so now that I've got friends with me, the game will be my level +1 for enemies.
Right, okay.
So that it'll be harder for me, but these guys could be 20 levels above me, and thus only like 19 above the enemies.
Right.
Which makes it a little weird to play with friends. If you were playing with friends at a steady pace, this would be odd, because one friend, like if you start playing this with me now, I'd be so powerful compared to you that it would just, if I came into your game, it would make it trivial.
Okay.
If you came into mine, it would make it impossible for you.
Right.
So, top tip, if you're going to start playing with a friend, start characters together.
Okay.
I think they're going to change it. Gunfire have already come out and said they've got a lot of feedback,
Yeah.
a lot of consideration.
That's good that they're listening.
I mean, what it should do is ultimately scale everyone down to the lowest person, I think.
Yeah.
Or scale people
Or
up to the highest to make everyone feel a bit more powerful.
Is that a Diablo?
Diablo does it.
Diablo.
Plenty of things do it these days. Didn't Borderlands 2 never did it? Maybe 3 will. Because I think that was the last game I had that problem with.
Okay.
Where you'd have like, you don't always get a chance to play with your friends, and if you played more, you'd race ahead, and then you're like, I've done all this shit and I'm way more powerful.
So what do the pluses next to the
So
phrase
that's
mean?
how many Estus flask swigs they've got left.
Oh, okay.
There's a fog door.
Right, yeah, that does look different.
Oh dear. Now you hear the little audio clicks there, pops?
Yeah.
It does that sometimes. Oh fuck me, what the hell's this thing? What the fuck is this
Have
thing?
you done this before?
Nope. Is this...
Is that guy just waiting to come in?
Running low!
Now the worst part won't be that harrow, it'll be the ads that start coming in a second, I guarantee it. Oh my god. Fucking hell.
It looks like it's just going for you.
Yep. I mean, if I die because it's my game, it doesn't actually mean anything. As long as one of us gets through this and gets to an next bonfire, we will come back with all the items. One thing I do like about this is, where is the harrow?
Is he marked on the mini map ever?
There's an ability that lets you see. There's the ads. These fuckers. I like his weapon, it's like a big scythe thing. Does he disappear and then come back?
Will ammo drop in the dungeon?
The minions tend to drop it. One thing that's good as well, enemies take real cool stagger damage. Oh fuck, there he is.
I think he went to follow you, you know.
Oh god! I did not react very quickly at all there. Now this is the problem now, they're not going to have much chance to come and help me. Jesus Christ. It's not a big area, is it? It seems to be doing alright with this like fucking flail thing going on. It also costs a dragon scale to revive somebody, so if you don't have any, that person's shit out of luck.
Oh, so it costs you.
Oh, he's down as well. No,
it
this
costs
isn't-
you as the person reviving.
Yeah. So if nobody had a dragon scale, I would just collapse down dead now, and it'll be like, you are dead. I've got a feeling this guy is not having a good time either. Oh, he might be doing alright. Watch me go down straight away.
Need to have a potion.
Oh, fuck off! They've got so much reach. Nah. So once it goes bad, it tends to go very bad.
Yeah.
I don't think we were doing too bad against the boss. It's the ads, and that's maybe a criticism on this game as well. It wants to be a Dark Souls, but it kind of takes the lazy way out in that it just throws ads at you to make it hard, not so much a hard boss.
Right, okay.
Other than the end of world bosses, most of them are actually just bigger versions of normal enemies.
Yeah.
This one isn't. This seems to be a fairly unique. Tell you what I might do actually, swap that out for fire. That's what I'll do. Switch it up a little bit.
Let's do it again.
Let's try it. So he's already here this time. Fuck that.
So is that right that you don't have your minions now?
They seem to come in as his bars of health go down.
No, your minions.
Oh yes, so I don't have mine, but I have got a fire buff for my gun. So what I will probably do, where is he? Oh god, that's radiation.
Drop off!
These seem hard. There's the main boss though. When you're in groups, this game reminds me of Left 4 Dead a little bit. That kind of frantic, slightly randomised, on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Is there a lower area? I didn't even know there was a lower area. Enemy stuck on the floor, that's good. Oh, come on, he came out the floor there and got me. Shit. Come on. Oh, come on. Kind of some of the poorer aspects of the game, like enemies diving through walls at you.
Yeah.
Just swarming you.
It's the first time the boss was just after you.
I don't think it matters necessarily if he's after me or not. I'm probably just going to go down. And these guys look far more serious than me, and even they're going down a few times. I mean, the amount of minions that get thrown into fights when you've got 3 people is insane. 2 seems to be a bit of a sweet spot, but 3 is nuts. This guy seems to know what he's about. He seems to be good at spacing the enemies and coming and reviving friends. I just got overwhelmed there. Maybe I'm standing and fighting too much. Definitely pays to be a bit more defensive in this game, I find. Okay, alright, buddy.
Hang on!
Oh shit, this thing's coming.
You've also got your friend there, though, so...
Oh god, thank god he's got staggered. Oh, you fucker. One behind me. Oh fucking hell! I can't do shit against these things. Like even these, I don't know if they've been scaled up because of where I'm at. But oh, I leveled up at least. I can't even do it while I'm waiting. To the rescue! When he runs out of dragon scales, we are fucked. This is the worst place to be.
Yeah, it's not a good call.
I think we're dead here.
Yeah.
Oh, me. Oh, there's Harrow again. Jesus Christ. Time to do it. I tell you what.
So what are you changing here?
So I'm changing the mod. So I've got a mod that creates a black zone of radiation around me that enemies can't enter into.
Okay.
That might buy us some space, but it usually takes a goddamn age to charge up. So it could be a little bit of give or take.
They see us!
Bit of stutter there. I mean, the enemies are, it's not unfair with the enemies, they do stagger.
That's where he went. I thought I saw his feet go up last time, but I didn't know if that was a glitch.
So he's a little bitch and runs away.
Right.
And then his boys take care of us.
And he just joins when he feels like it.
Oh my god, stop fucking... There he is. That's pretty good when you get a good swing on it.
Cover me!
Okay,
Just lure him away so the guy can.
there we go. Come on, let me revive him.
Can you do your radiation thing?
I don't think I need to yet. Now, the trouble is... Oh, I do now. We're doing alright. I shouldn't say these things. I really shouldn't say these things. Oh, fuck you, boys. Oh, what the fuck? I didn't think I was that low health.
You were less than half.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. This game does like to fuck you up. Oh, melee them. He's gonna go down. Look, he's fucking 12. Yep. And we're like down to the last 20% or something.
Yeah, that was a lot better. See, he shouldn't come after you now. That's not fair.
It might be the best thing for it, really, if the guy gives the guy some time, gives our friend some time.
Oh, actually, he's taken off your counter. Look, every time he swiped at you, you're.
I thought it might be.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this guy's in trouble. Oh, God, so as you can see, it's very Dark Soulsy.
Yeah.
We'll give it
very
one more
difficult.
time. We'll give it one more go. And then maybe call it a day because we're getting on to 50 minutes here. No. Okay. And then, you know what, I'm going to go back to my fiery.
Yeah, I'm not sure you used your.
It's so slow to charge up that it's often hard.
So one of the guys isn't here yet.
Jesus Christ, the reach of that thing. Is he burning now?
Yeah.
Watch my back!
It's weird.
There you go, your friends joined.
Bring my own boys with us this time. Ooh.
Watch my back! Run him out! Reloading!
You need to heal.
Oh, fuck's sake. Yep, that's probably my problem, really. Just not paying attention. Oh my god, when did he just come around the back? I didn't even know there was a door there. Did he open it? Oh, it's really frustrating because we got the harrow down massively. Don't try and heal us, dude. Just run.
Your health, I couldn't even see the red on the
Oh my
bar.
god, I didn't realise it was that low. So yeah, that's we'll call it a day there. That's Remnant. It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's challenging if you like Dark Souls or something a bit different. It's weird. There's nothing quite like this that I've played before. It's only £32, $40. It's got some rough edges. If some of the things you've seen here might bother you, maybe hold off a month or two while the devs sort it out. But otherwise, it's a solid game that, when it's in full swing, is fun. Has some frustrating edges, but overall, kind of a reasonable recommend at that price point.